Hi, this is James from Hellripper. You're watching this on Metal Memes MX.
Everybody, I'm Frank, and I'm here with James McBain from Hellripper. How are you doing today, brother?
Thank you very much, man. I'm doing very well. Nice to speak to you, man.
That's nice. That's nice. Just before entering, you told me about my T-shirt from Midnight. Really, really
Yeah,
good
man.
band.
Yeah.
Your style, it's a little bit similar from Midnight, which is amazing.
hmm
So yeah. So my first question would be like, over these last years, we have seen a lot of solo bands such as you are. Just last year, we had Hulder on the Candelabrum,
Yeah.
which it's also a solo band. So
hmm
my first question would be like, how did you decided to create this solo project, like just by yourself?
Yeah. For me, it was because I didn't know anyone that was into similar music, you know. I think that's probably um quite common with solo projects, I guess. Yeah, I just didn't know anyone. I was not involved with my scene at the time. You know, I didn't really know much people in my city and in the scene, you know, I wasn't like I say, wasn't involved. And so I instead of waiting to find people, you know, I put up ads online and stuff like that. And instead of waiting to find people, I just decided, yeah, nothing's ever gonna happen if I keep waiting. And then I'll just see if I can learn how to mix and record and do all that stuff myself. Um, and especially, you know, the style I wanted to play, Hellripper style, like black speed, metal punk, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the bands in the scene, like Midnight, for example, or Toxic Holocaust, Whip Striker, Dark Throne, it's all kind of one or two people. And they inspired me, you know, like yeah, these people are very DIY. They did it themselves, so it's doable. I'll try it and see what happens, you know. And yeah, the goal at the beginning, you know, was kind of record an EP, record a few songs, put it online, and maybe a few people from the local scene would like it. Um, and that was kind of my only expectations with Hellripper. I never expected there was no plans to ever play live with Hellripper. There was no real plans to like do an album or anything. It was just kind of one EP and maybe a couple of other songs. But yeah, it's grown from there, and yeah, it's crazy. Now, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. I know firsthand how difficult it could be to manage people, to I don't know, find a drummer, find a bass player, find
That's the worst. Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So
yeah.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad you did because Hellripper is such a good band.
Oh, thank you, man.
And well, saying this, my next question would be like, I can hear a lot of genres on Hellripper, not just like black metal. I can also
Mhm,
hear some like thrash metal and maybe even some like rock and roll kind of stuff.
mhm.
So tell me, what is your process of composition when you create these songs? Because you know everybody has like their own process, you know?
Mhm.
So how is
Yeah,
it for you as a solo band to create these songs?
yeah. So yeah, I listen to a lot of things. Like first of all, so I listen to, you know, of course, black metal, speed metal, thrash. Yeah, like you say, rock and roll, punk, even pop music and stuff like that. I kind of listen to anything like that is good. And um, yeah, Hellripper is a speed metal, black speeds. So I want to keep like I've always got the that in mind when I'm writing. You know, I want the band Hellripper will always be a speed metal band, but I want to incorporate these other influences like around the speed metal, you know, so the black metal, um the heavy metal, traditional heavy metal kind of stuff, punk. You know, I want to put that in there to complement the speed metal. but my process is kind of simple. It's really, I play guitar, I come up with a riff, I just kind of, jam for ages on guitar, just mess around, and anytime something sounds okay or sounds decent, I'll write it down or I'll record it on my phone. Um, and then I just kind of keep doing that. And then once I have like, I write everything down on like kind of software like Guitar Pro software. And so I write the riff down or write it apart. I put drums with it, and then I just kind of expand from there. I just add another riff to that, and yeah, it's not a very complicated process. The complicated process is like putting the riffs together. Finding it's okay coming up with one riff or two riffs, but then kind of structuring them into a song is where um is the difficult part for me. I can come up with loads of riffs, but if you don't package them together, it just becomes a mess. It doesn't, you've got to kind of have a structure, otherwise it's not catchy. It's not yeah, it's yeah, just wanting to make the song as best it can be. So yeah, the process isn't really anything crazy. It's just like that. And then I use the kind of Guitar Pro thing as a demo. Instead of recording like a demo, I have like a MIDI version on Guitar Pro that I can kind of hear, which sounds sort of like the real thing, I guess. And I can add and subtract different instruments and harmonies and take out one part and put it into the next, put it somewhere else, replace the chorus parts or whatever. Um, and yeah, there's no real process of what I want a song to sound like. Some songs I just it makes sense to kind of include different influences and make it like 5 or 6 minutes long with guitar harmonies and two or three guitar solos and stuff like that. And other times it makes more sense just to do like a 2 minute song with like three riffs. There's no like criteria. Um, and so yeah, just whenever a song is sounding good enough or sounds, like I can't do anything more with it, and I guess it's done and I'm ready to record it and add the vocals and all that kind of stuff and experiment with production and all of that kind of thing. That's a fun part of the process for me, like the production, adding layers, adding like harmonizing guitars or putting things on the left and right speakers, things like that. Just to make it a bit more interesting, adding some atmosphere, stuff like that. So yeah, that's my process. I don't know how helpful that was, but
Oh, it's really helpful. Actually, we do a lot of similar things when we create music
yeah.
for one of my bands. We also do kind of similar stuff. And I get you, man. Like connecting riffs, like one riff to another can be
Yeah.
difficult sometimes. So when you told me you were using like tools like Guitar Pro, that
Mm,
makes a lot of sense because that
yeah.
facilitates a lot this part of the connection of the riffs and if a riff really goes together with another and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
the atmosphere is very important as well.
Yeah. And like, yeah, the I think the worst part for me is when I come up with a really good riff, but it doesn't fit anywhere. And so
Yeah.
I just have to wait. There's some riffs that are like, uh, for example, on the last album, there's a riff on the song I the Deceiver. It's like the bridge riff. It's kind of rock and roll, Venom, Judas Priest style thing. And I've had that riff for about 4 or 5 years. And I've included it in like while writing songs, I've put it in 2 or 3 songs and it didn't work. So I had to take it out, put it in another song, didn't work. And it's a really I think it's a really cool riff. It's one of my favorite ones. And yeah, eventually after 4 or 5 years, however long it was, it managed to go into a song. And I've got loads of riffs like that. I've got riffs that are like 10 years old that you just wait for the right song to put it in. So yeah, you've got to kind of not get too attached to things, like you might come up with a riff and you're like, I need to include this somewhere, but then it might ruin the song. It might ruin the impact of that riff, stuff like that. So yeah, context is important as well, I guess.
Yes, of course. And that happened a lot. Like you have a really good composition, but
Oh,
it
thank you,
made
man.
it may not fit in other songs, and then you have to wait. So yeah, I
Yeah,
get that as well.
yeah.
So, well, the third question would be like, I think you're going to be one of the most, if not the most dynamic artists on this edition of Candelabrum. So
Oh,
I
thanks,
wanted to,
man.
oh yeah, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what can the Mexican metalheads expect from Hellripper this next September?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a wild show. We're going to play fast. We're going to hopefully the audience are, crazy. We're going to just go balls to the wall, rock and roll. Um, yeah, just a wild show. We haven't looked at the set or anything yet. It's the first time coming over there, so I guess the majority of people won't have seen us live before, and so we've got like however many songs, like three uh three albums and a compilation like worth of songs that no one has heard live, and so yeah, it's going to be kind of taking things from every release and um to make sure every bit's represented. Because of course there are people that like the very first EP better than the new album, and people that don't like something at all and stuff like that, and people that only like one album or whatever. So yeah, I want to try and make sure there's a little bit of every release in there, and yeah, we just want to play a fast show, have fun, try and get the audience into it, and yeah, looking forward to the fest, and of course watching all the other bands, like Dismember, Exodus, and uh, Phantom are cool, and yeah,
Yeah, of course. And I can assure you that Mexican fans are crazy, so they're gonna have a blast listening
excellent,
to you live. So yeah, you can bet uh,
excellent. Love
for
to
that.
hear it.
So my next question was going to be, are you looking forward for something in Mexico outside of music?
I haven't really thought about it yet. We need to kind of see where you know, I've I've got since we go on tour, the majority of the time we don't we don't have time to do anything. For example, the last tour we went on, it was like 1 month through Europe. There was no time to do anything at all other than go to the venue and then go to our hotel and then leave to the next venue. So I'm hoping we can go go about a bit, and see things, and uh, get some food, of course, and yeah, looking forward to meeting the people. Just the people at the fest and people that have supported Hellripper. It's cool to. I'm very grateful that we're able to come over there and people have an interest in the band. It's crazy. Like I say, I had no expectations with the band other than maybe 5 or 10 people in my hometown would like it. So it's crazy, that we're able to come over there and have some sort of fan base, and so I'm just looking forward to having a good time and seeing what happens. Really enjoying my time at the fest, watching some bands, and yeah, depending on what when we arrive, when we have to leave, with flights and stuff like that, and hopefully we've got time to do a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I hope so too. Because food here, it's a must. Like
mm,
you should try some tacos or
of
something like
course.
that.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you do have a really good fan base here because we have a podcast on weekends.
Hmm.
It's called Metal Memes MX
Hmm.
Podcast, and a lot of people. It's a live podcast, so
Yeah.
when I
Okay. Yeah.
told the people that I was going to interview you, they were like, "Oh, Hellripper, it's such an amazing band." Even
Oh,
one of
nice.
my podcast mates, he was like, "Oh, Hellripper, it's amazing, dude."
Oh,
And
cool.
and yeah, it's really really cool music bro. So yeah, I'm looking forward. You're one of the bands that I'm mostly looking forward for
Oh,
this Candelabrum.
thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, man. Yeah, I hope we don't disappoint now then.
Ah, you won't, you won't. I bet you won't. So this
Yeah.
this will be my last question. This is a question I always ask, and this goes something like, what's the craziest thing you have experienced on this metal road?
I mean, I mean, like I keep saying, other more than five people listening to the band is crazy, and weird to think. But yeah, just playing playing some shows and touring with some of my favorite bands, and meeting some of my like people that have influenced the band, influenced Hellripper and things like that. And I mean, that's crazy to me. Like I mean, like I said, we finished a tour in Europe last month with Toxic Holocaust and Abath, and Toxic Holocaust are kind of are the reason that Hellripper exists. Just the whole the whole thing. So that's crazy. And then yeah, having people listen to the band and fans in Mexico and the US and in Europe and in Australia and Japan, whatever, it's weird to think about. It's yeah, it's really weird, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's crazy, and the whole thing is crazy. I'm able to play speed metal, fast music, screaming about goats, and I get to come over to
Huh.
different countries and places like Mexico and to festivals with cool lineups and stuff like that. Yeah, the whole thing is crazy, man.
Amazing. Yeah, it's sometimes it's kind of a surreal thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Last yeah, yeah, last year, like my band, it's very influenced by Dark Tranquility in Flames and stuff like
Hmm.
this. So we were on Candelabrum, and I had such a surreal moment. I just remember I just got to meet Michael Stan
Yeah,
from Dark Tranquility, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Is this even
yeah,
real? So yeah,
yeah. It's crazy, man.
I feel you, I feel you. James, thank you so very much for your time, man. As I told you
Thank you.
before, I'm really looking forward to listen to your music live this next
Yeah,
Candelabrum.
man.
So, anything else you wanted to add? Maybe the social media of Hellripper,
Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah. You can check out Hellripper on all the kind of usual places. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Bandcamp, um, Spotify, wherever. Just the usual places. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over there. Looking forward to seeing everyone. Looking forward to visiting the country. And yes, coming to a cool fest. Cheers, man.
amazing. Oh, cheers. So, James McBain, everybody from Hellripper, thank you so much for your time, brother,
Thank
and
you.
see you on September.
Yeah, see you soon, dude.